It's here. Yamaha has just pulled back the curtain on a brand new Ténéré 700 World Raid, a spec'd-up adventure bike that looks ready to take on the world and emerge victorious. I'm Ollie from Adventure Bike Rider, and here's everything you need to know about the Ténéré 700 World Raid. But first of all, before we get into it, don't forget to hit subscribe on the ABR channel to stay up to date with the world of adventure biking. From news, reviews and video podcasts, we've got it all. Now let's get into it. Here's the World Raid. So, what's new on the Ténéré World Raid? Well, first of all, and most noticeably, are those side-mounted dual fuel tanks. Now, they've taken capacity up from 16 litres on the base spec Ténéré to 23 litres, and Yamaha reckons that will get you about 300 miles between fill-ups. Yamaha also says that those new side-mounted tanks will ensure the centre of gravity is kept low, which is pretty important when you're adding extra weight, and will also avoid noticeable movement of fuel during cornering. We'll have to wait till our first ride to see how this works in practice, but we're always a fan of larger touring-ready tanks, and it's great to see Yamaha improve in an area that the previous model was slightly lacking. Another area that the base spec model could have done with some improvement on was the suspension, and happily it seems like Yamaha has listened to rider feedback with the World Raid. There's a new spec'd-up suspension setup with 43mm KYB front forks providing 230mm of travel, 20mm more than the base spec Ténéré, and a new rear shock providing 220mm of travel. That setup has also raised the ground clearance to a whopping 250mm, which is perfect for those log jumps. Yamaha hasn't stopped there either, fitting an Ollie steering damper as standard. It's adjustable through 18 damping settings and is an impressive feature for riders who will be pushing the Ténéré hard on their trips, both on and off-road. Elsewhere, there's an 890mm two-piece seat. Now that seems a little bit at odds with the World Raid's focus as a tourer, particularly if you don't have the genetics of a basketball player, because it's quite an intimidating figure. There's also 3-mode ABS. Mode 1 activates ABS on both wheels, Mode 2 turns it off at the rear, and Mode 3 offers the most control by turning it off at the front and the rear, giving experienced off-roaders the ability to lock up both tyres on the trail. Now the base spec Ténéré's stripped back, low-tech approach appealed to a lot of riders, but it has to be said that the tech on the Ténéré did feel a little bit dated compared to the competition. So in the World Raid, Yamaha has looked to improve the offering. That's why we're particularly impressed to see a brand new 5-inch coloured TFT screen, which looks awesome, sitting in a redesigned cockpit. Now that screen comes with 3 different layouts, Explorer, Street and Raid, and is a welcome improvement on the previous Game Boy-esque LCD display. There's also mobile connectivity, which connects with Yamaha's MyRide app to show text messages and call notifications. There's even a USB socket to charge your sat-nav or phone. It's not just tech that's been given an update in the cockpit either. That stubby screen has been given an extra 50mm of height, and there's easy to remove side deflectors to help aid weather protection when you're in the saddle. And finally, there's a new set of engine protection, including a large aluminium bash plate and the new fairing protectors to guard those fuel tanks in the case of a drop. So that's the Yamaha Ténéré 700 World Raid, a spec'd-up adventure bike that looks set to take on the world. The Yamaha comes in the attractive blue, which you would have seen in the videos, as well as a black colour scheme. But how much will it cost, and when will it be available to buy? Well, Yamaha has said that the Ténéré 700 World Raid will be available in dealerships from May 2022, and it will cost you £11,600 on the road. Now that's quite a fair increase from the base spec model, but then you are getting a lot of bang for your buck with that new suspension setup, the steering damper and those dual fuel tanks. If you want to ride one for yourself, the manufacturer will also be bringing a fleet of the bikes to the 2022 ABR Festival, which is running from the 24th to the 26th of June. Find out more about the festival in the description below, including the other manufacturers who will be attending and other activities on throughout the weekend. Now we want to know what you think about the Yamaha Ténéré 700 World Raid. Is it the world-conquering adventure bike that you'd hoped it would be, or would you rather Yamaha had tried something different? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, please like this video and subscribe to the Adventure Bike Rider YouTube channel for regular updates from the world of adventure biking and two-wheel travel, including news, reviews, video podcasts and much, much more. For now, safe riding.